What you're about to experience is a free, worldwide interactive broadcast from Ontario, Canada. We broadcast live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Get your questions in. Join the community chat room at www.category5.tv or email us at live@category5.tv. And now, let's begin. Here's your host, Robbie Ferguson.
Hey, welcome to episode number 156 of Category 5 Technology TV. If you're wondering what's going on, it is Super Mario Brothers' birthday. Well, yesterday was 25 years. We're going to be talking about it in just a little bit, but celebrating with them tonight with our non-existent fictional friends. Anyways, we'll leave it at that, but we'll come back to it. This is episode number 156. It's Tuesday, September the 13th, or so I say. Now, there's not a lot of stuff that would keep me from doing a live broadcast for you here at Category5.tv, but tonight you'll notice that I am alone, and there's a reason for that. I've done the show with a terrible cold. I have done it with a cough, and I've made it through, and I always stick it out because I'm all about doing live shows for you. But sometimes prenatal classes get booked on a Tuesday night, and as you know, my wife is expecting our third child, so tonight we are off meeting with our midwife. So that's where I am right now in body, but here I am in thought. So this is pre-recorded, but it is just like any other broadcast. This is a brand new broadcast. We're not doing a rerun on you tonight. This is indeed episode number 156. Now, I'm not able to join you in the chat room, obviously, tonight, but there are a lot of people who are joining you right there at Category5.tv. Just beautiful members of our community who are there to answer your questions, and we thank them for that. And also just a great place to hang out, say hey, get to know some of the people who are involved in the Category5.tv community. We'd love to have you join them in the chat room, Category5.tv, and I hope that you have a fun time tonight. Tonight we have got a lot of stuff going on from the newsroom. I've got a lot of great stories. Automatic is transferring the trademark to Wordpress Foundation. Wi-Fi is soon going to become a lot easier for Linux users as Broadcom has announced that they're releasing their latest drivers as open source. Stick around. Google Instant is being rolled out, and we're going to be looking at that. They're making web searching even easier for the novice user and a lot faster for everyone, I think. And of course, going to be talking about Super Mario Bros., who are celebrating 25 years. Their birthday was yesterday for the game. Also, just to keep it interesting tonight, I do have a couple of things that I'd like to give away at the end of the show. So stick around, and I'll be passing out some freebies, so you don't want to miss out on that tonight, right here at Category5.tv. If you're new here, it's fantastic to have you joining us. I'd invite you to, if you haven't already done so, register as a registered viewer on our website, Category5.tv. It's free to register, and it gives you some advantages over non-registered users. You get a couple of extra features there, but also it gives us a chance just to know who's watching, and we'd love to be able to say greets to you. Speaking of saying hello, I do have at least one viewer testimonial that has come in this week. I've got one here from Ashley, who says, I am really impressed with the help that I get in your live chat room now. You've improved a lot, definitely worth watching, and gives us a triple plus and 5 suns. Ashley goes on to say, I remember the time when it was just you and I in the chat room at Christmas time, and I was with you in there asking random questions all the way through till 2 a.m. in the morning. Good old times, eh? Anyways, good luck with the broadcasting. That comes to us from Ashley, and definitely that goes along the lines of what I was saying about always sticking it out with the live broadcast. There was once when Christmas fell on a Tuesday night. So I ended up pre-recording that show. We've done it very, very rarely, but pre-recorded that show, I don't know if it was like 2 nights before, super, super late at night, but always making sure that we have new content here at Category5.tv and not just throwing you a rerun when I can't make it. So very nice to have you joining us, Ashley. Great to see you again, and hope that you'll join us in the community at Category5.tv quite often. Ron Moy joins us from Huntington, Huntington, California. Says, hello again, Robbie. Great show as always. I enjoyed your photo manipulation using the command line for resizing an image. Perhaps you can also show us how to script some of those commands to process photos in a directory, resizing, rotating, cropping, etc. Definitely make a Bosch script or something that would be a front end for that. Would definitely be interested in doing that for you. So that a bunch of photos can be processed in a batch in order to save time. Looking forward to learning how to add the command to a right-click context pop-up as well. Keep up the great work, and kudos to Hillary for a great show as well. From this is Kyoshi Ninja. Great to have you here, Kyoshi Ninja, Roy, from California. I've also got one here from TJ who says, hey Robbie, I've been a GNU Linux user for 4 or 5 years now and a viewer of your show for about 1 year. It's a great show, and people who are new and want to learn about how to use free software, it's great for that. I want to know if, even just once, you could do a show on some more advanced topics, nothing crazy, but a little bit more in-depth than your normal show. I had a couple of ideas that I think would be interesting, such as setting up SSH SFTP servers with chroot jail, compiling a kernel optimized for your hardware using GNU Screen for terminal multiplexing, or installing Ubuntu with the minimal ISO and then installing a minimal window manager. Anything along those lines would be really interesting to us geeks, and also maybe for the noobs as well. Thanks for your time from TJ. Gives us 5 out of 5 suns. Thank you very much, TJ. And what do you think of that idea, everybody in the community? Would love to hear from you. Drop me an email live at category5.tv. Love to hear what you think about maybe throwing in the occasional tidbit that's a little bit more geared towards that advanced user. I could see doing it maybe as like a, like a five minute kind of quick segment, maybe once a show, so that we don't, so that it's not too dull. Because we could get into the terminal and we could start going at so much stuff. So it really depends on, I'd love to hear from more people and see what you think. Live at category5.tv is my email address, and that would be great. That looks like it for this week. If you'd like to submit a viewer testimonial, just visit our website, category5.tv, click on Interact, and submit a testimonial. That would be great. Okay, so we've got lots going on tonight. I'm going to try to get through. I do have a handful of questions that have come in by email at live@category5.tv this week. So I'm going to hit those. Again, I'm not able to join you in the chat room tonight because this is pre-recorded, but the content is new. So stick around. I've also got some stuff to give away at the end of the show. So I've got one here from Super Carrot. Hello, Super Carrot. His vision is superb. I can imagine. Says, I really don't get to watch your show live too often, but I saw that you were having problems with scanners. Indeed, I recall. Last week. I think that was Jim's question, actually. So Jim, listen up. Here's something from Super Carrot, just for you. I've been there before, says Super Carrot. The answer, whether you're on Linux, Windows, or Mac, is in fact a commercial product called Vuescan, spelled V-U-E-S-C-A-N. It's better than the stuff that comes with Windows, so I prefer it. Here's the kicker right here, Jim. It doesn't ask any silly questions. It comes with the drivers built in, and so it just works, and works really well. It's not free, but it's a solid fix. Super Carrot, thank you very much for the comment. I'm going to see if we can pull that up. Vuescan. Here we go. It's, interestingly, it's hamrick.com. H-A-M-R-I-C-K. And there it is. Vuescan is a powerful, easy-to-use program that scans documents. So it's just a scanning front end. But look at this. It supports more than 1,500 scanners. I wonder if we could track down what the scanner model was last week. Now, they've got a couple of builds for Linux, so that's fantastic. Like the looks of that. Let's see if they have a compatible hardware list. I don't see anything right off the bat here. But Jim, I would encourage you to, oh, look at this. On the support page, there's a link to supported scanners. So I'm going to see if I can find Jim's email here from last week, where he says he's got the Epson Perfection 3590. Epson, I'm going through this. Perfection 3590. Here we go. What does it say? Vuescan support for Epson Perfection 3590. Vuescan works with the Epson Perfection on Windows, Mac OS, and, Jim, Linux. Reflective scanning, yes. Film scanning, yes. Document feeder, yes. Windows, Mac, and Linux. There it is. That could be your answer right there, Jim. Super Carrot, gotta hand it to you. You're just proving why the Category5.tv community is just a fantastic thing to be involved in. Thank you very much for that. And Jim, please let us know if that is the solution. As far as purchasing that software, looks reasonable. Standard edition, lets you do the basic stuff, $39.95. There is a professional edition, which also lets you scan to RAW files, lets you use ICC profiles and color spaces, as well as IT8 color calibration. Likely you're not going to need any of those things if you're just doing kind of home scanning. That one goes for $79.95. So the basic one, standard edition, $39.95 from hamrick.com, HAMRICK.com. This is Category 5 Technology TV. I am your host, Robbie Ferguson, all by my lonesome tonight, as this is a pre-recorded episode, as I'm off finding out what we need to do when our third baby comes along. It's going to be exciting. Very exciting. We are due in November, so we're coming down to the wire, so to speak. Baby's getting big. Very exciting. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. We're about 12 minutes in. Okay, Gatorman says, looking for something to boost or extend a wireless network. I want to go from one building to another with a distance of approximately 200 feet. The building of origin is brick. The building of destination is a portable classroom, example, a manufactured home. I've done some research, and most solutions are heavily criticized by users for not being effective at all. The operating system is, of course, Linux. It's actually Ubuntu 10.04 with a dual boot to XP. I appreciate your thoughts. This is from Gatorman. Gatorman, I hope I'm able to help. Thank you for your question tonight. And if you've got a question for me, just you can send it in at live@category5.tv. So Gatorman, the first thing that comes to mind now, I'm looking at it right now. I can't reach it, and I don't have John here tonight to be able to run over and grab something off my shelf for me. But I do have a 15 decibel signal booster antenna, which is SMC connector, so that you basically unscrew the antenna from the back of your router, and you plug and you screw in the SMC connector for the separate antenna. The antenna has about a 5-foot cable, and then it has almost like a satellite dish looking thing that provides you a 15 decibel signal boost. I wonder if instead of, I can see it from here, you can't see it. Decibel 802.11 signal booster. I'm just typing that in, hoping that I find something for you. But that's essentially what it's going to be called. No, that's not the one that I'm looking for. Just see if, when I say SMC, I'm talking about the connector with the screw-on type. So your router has to have that ability to unscrew the antenna. Most these days do. Oh, maybe I found it. Maybe not. Nope. But hey, there are lots out there. And this is, you know, version 1 of what you could possibly do. This one here, wireless network booster antenna, that looks like the same sort of idea, but this is almost like an FM style antenna as opposed to the dish style that I have. But one of those works okay. That might be the ones that you're seeing that people may have positive or negative results with. I've used those. They're an economical solution, very, very cheap. You're going to spend anywhere around $50 for an antenna like that. And it just replaces the built-in antenna on your Wi-Fi router. It's definitely going to give you a better signal, I guarantee you, but it is directional. So unlike the antenna that's built into your router that basically provides the signal in an omnidirectional, kind of all over the place style way, so the antenna is the middle point, and anything that surrounds it by a circumference is going to be receiving that signal, whereas one of these boosters quite often are directional. So you actually have to point it at that portable in order to be able to receive the signal from that portable. So depending if there's people who are accessing it from within the brick building as well, you may need to have a dual antenna set up. You may have to have one for the building, the brick building, one for, like set it up maybe in a window and have it pointed at the portable, for example, so that the signal can get through. You don't want to have to try to go through brick. Now, if that doesn't work for you, that's the economical, like really quick kind of way. The next step I would go to, and this is the professional step, would be to grab yourself an Ingenious device, and let me see what we can come up with. Ingenious is a brand that their devices are designed to, they're just fantastic wireless devices. ingeniostech.com. Let's see what I can find for you. They do access points. They do all different kinds of stuff. But in your case, because you're going outdoors, you might want to use an outdoor bridge. So here's something, let's see, weatherproof products from Ingenious. Again, these are kind of the commercial professional line of items that you may want to look at. Something like this will probably do well for you. Long-range outdoor wireless client bridge access point that operates seamlessly in the 5 or 2.4 gigahertz frequency spectrum, provides high bandwidth up to 54 megabits per second, and high transmit power and high receive sensitivity, which extends the wireless. So something like that, that's the EOC 5611P, would probably be ideal for you. You'd have to contact an Ingenious seller. I'm not sure if you can actually buy off of their website. It's possible. It looks like it's just going to point you to a dealer. So use that website, ingeniostech.com, and see what you come up with. And if you're totally stuck, okay, there's the URL there. Sorry for the flicker. We're dealing with I've switched over to the laptop tonight. As you can see, it's full widescreen, so it does have other issues that I didn't have before. But ingeniostech.com, just spelled like that, will get you to that website. And like I say, if you are stuck at that point, if you really can't get any further, or you can't find the device that's right for you, pop me an email, okay, Gatorman, live@category5.tv, just as a follow-up. And I know some gentlemen actually who install outdoor wireless networks as well as large-scale business networks through Wi-Fi. And I could certainly see about getting them on the show to discuss the use of range extenders, bridges, access points, that kind of thing. But I think Ingenious is probably the way to go. As far as, you know, they have a vast range of products. They are not a sponsor of the show, so when I say that I'm endorsing them, I'm saying it from the bottom of my heart. I mean it. They're just a great product, and that would be, if I was installing a network, that would be the first place I would check. Okay? So, hope that works out for you. And I'll post a link in the show notes for episode number 156 to ingeniostech.com. All right, doing it all tonight. Watching the email is probably a good thing that I'm not live, because if I was trying to watch the chat room at the same time, I don't know if you've ever caught the chat room here at Category5.tv. Eric was talking to me last week. I was asking him, you know, did you enjoy yourself on Category5.tv, Eric? He said, yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was a great time. He thought it was great. So this is good. Maybe he'll stick around. But one of the things that he commented was that the chat room is just like, it's just flying by. Now, Eric doesn't use the chat. He's never used a chat room before, as he said. And we'll poke fun at him about that next week, okay? Make sure you do. And, but a lot of people comment that it's impossible to keep up with the show in one window and the chat room in another, because the chat room is just go, go, go. I don't know what it's like tonight, but some nights we're getting 3 or 4 messages per second. So keeping up with it is wild, but it's a lot of fun, especially if you know, if you recognize my shirt, and you're one of those babies who possibly was around when MIRC was the item. You definitely want to get into our IRC chat room. Check it out; it's a lot of fun. You can find us. Our chat room is available, of course, through our website, Category5.tv. It's there 24/7. and it's active through the week. And over the past several months, we've been, monitoring the chat room, and there are a lot of conversations that go on even during off-air time. So I'd invite you to become a part of those conversations, even if you want to sit in kind of like a troll mode until a conversation pipes up, or you see somebody come in and you want to say hey. But we encourage that through the week as well. But if you're not able to get on through our website, Category5.tv, and you have interest in using an IRC client, whatever client you're using, you can get on to freenode.net. That's irc.freenode.net, and then you can hop on over to our channel, which is simply Category5, and we would love to see you there. And it would be our pleasure to have you as a part of our community. Everything here at Category5.tv is provided for free. We are funded by advertising, and we also we appreciate all the donations that do come in here at Category5 Technology TV. It's just incredible that we're able to keep the show going, and we're coming up on our 3rd-year anniversary next week, and it's such a privilege for me to be a part of such a great community, and it's just been so much fun over the past few years. So looking forward to year 4 as well. Fantastic. So all that said, I am kind of glad that I'm not here by myself trying to keep up with the chat room as well, because it is madness. Madness. Everybody flood. And then my poor moderators are trying to keep an eye on everything. All right, we've got a couple more minutes until we hit the news. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get started on installing our application called Hugin. And last week we started talking about doing panoramic imaging. I did have a problem with the demo computer at that time. It's an older computer, so this week I've actually switched over to the laptop in hopes that broadcasting from the laptop is going to do a better job for us. I'm not sure, because this is the first time we've done it. And it's a little different. I'm actually looking down at a computer screen here tonight. So this guy right here. But hopefully that's going to work out for us. Hugin is a fantastic application. I've never had any problems with it on a production computer. Of course, when we're working with it in this kind of environment, I'm capturing what's happening on the screen, transmitting it through 802.11 to my network, and then into the broadcast server, which then rebroadcasts it to you. So last week we had a couple of problems. This week I'm hoping not. So let's bring up Synaptic Package Manager. All we have to do is go into, now this is in Ubuntu Linux. Keep in mind that Hugin is available for Windows, Linux, and Mac. Here on Ubuntu, all I want to do is bring up System Administration Synaptic Package Manager. That's going to give me my installer program, my front end for apt, and I'm going to type in Hugin. There it goes. And again, I am very sorry for that flicker. I don't know what it is, but I will attempt to fix it. Okay, Hugin, I am marking you for installation. That tells me, you also need all this other stuff. Your list will probably be a lot longer than that. I have a lot of stuff installed. So this is one of the advantages to Linux, and I think I mentioned it last week, is that if a program needs stuff in order to operate, it's going to automatically get it for you off the internet. It's going to install it. It's going to make it work. Back in the olden days, if you wanted to install something, you had to pop in the CD, and if it needed something, if you had a Microsoft Office, for example, and you're working on it for 2 years, and then suddenly you go to open a file format that you didn't happen to install 2 years prior, it's going to say, hey, insert your disk. We need to get more stuff in order for that to work. With repositories, we don't need to deal with that kind of thing. This application, Synaptic Package Manager, is a front end for repositories, which basically means it's going to get all this stuff that's required. See, not only do we need Hugin, but we also need Enfuse, Hugin Data, Hugin Tools. So I will mark those as well for installation. And it's fairly automated, so we don't have to worry about it. I'm going to hit Apply, and then, once again, Apply when the list has popped up. And that's going to grab all that stuff right off the internet for me so that I don't have to go out and find it. That's the beauty of one of the beauties. One of the beauties, of Linux. Changes are applied. Successfully applied all changes. You can now close this window. And we're good to go. So Hugin, the application that we need in order to create panoramic imaging, is now fully installed, ready to go. I don't need to reboot my computer. I don't need to find any disks. I don't need to do anything further. If I click on now applications, I'll zoom in a little bit here, applications, graphics, you'll see Hugin Batch Processor and Hugin Panorama Creator. And it flickers. That's not my screen actually flickering. I don't see that. That's just the video capture. So we'll try to get that resolved for next week. Apologies. But hey. Okay, so I'm going to bring up Hugin Panorama Creator. And here it goes. This should be a lot faster than the computer we were using last week. I'm going to blow that up full screen, and I am going to click on Load Images. Because I've got some images that I created last week when I went out to create my panorama. So basically I stepped out with my digital camera and I started snapping some pictures right there at the Spirit Catcher. That's Barrie's waterfront, by the way. There's one picture. Another picture. Notice I'm just turning a little bit to the left, counterclockwise, and I'm trying to hold my camera in such a position that its axis is basically around the midpoint of the lens of the camera. So as I'm turning that camera, I'm not actually turning my body like this, okay? I'm instead turning the camera like this. And I'm trying to turn it in such a way that it's on its axis. So I don't have my camera here with me tonight. I should have had it. But so if this is my, let's say this is my camera, my Bring Tim, and this is the lens, the halfway point of my lens is about the axis, which I want to be turning the camera on. So you take your first shot to the far right, move a little bit, keep parts of that image in the next shot so that when you move, the software will know how to slice that all up, or how to patch that together, how to seamlessly integrate all of those photos together. And you keep doing that until you've gotten about a 180-degree angle taken with those photos. If you go any further than that, then of course you're going to start getting into you're looking behind you kind of thing. So you're going to get a little bit of distortion. But sometimes, as I mentioned last week, there are cases where you want that. For example, if I'm doing a full panoramic 360 and I'm going to use a tool to actually animate that, for example, so that it looks like a video camera, or I can control that with my mouse using like a 360-degree JavaScript tool to display panoramics. Or if I want to create a light box for Compiz, for example, so that when I zoom out on my desktop with the cube, I could spin it and I could actually see my living room. You know, the box is floating in my living room. I could do that kind of stuff. So here in Hugin, I've got my images. So these are the photos that I took that day. Let's actually bring them up so that you can see what these look like. So there's photo number 1. See how I'm turning just a little bit to the left. And there's always an overlap because there have to be points that are recognizable between each of the photos. Now I'm back to number 1. Okay, so 1. See the overlap? So you're basically just panning around on the axis of your camera and then back to number 1. So those are all the images that I took. So that is going to be a 7-image panoramic image. So in Hugin now, I'm going to import all of those images. So I've browsed to the folder. I'm going to single click on the first image, okay, hold in my left shift key, and then single click on the last image. That's going to highlight all because I've held in my left shift key. The other thing that I could do, and I was just testing there just to make sure it works in this function, you could just single click on any image and then hit Control A, which is your, again, select all. So I've done that and that works as well. I'm going to open, and that's going to load all of those images into Hugin. So now lens type is going to be normal rectilinear, because most likely you're using, you know, the idea here is we're using a home digital camera. Let's see if I can do anything about that flicker. It seems to only happen when I'm zoomed, so if I zoom out, you can't really read everything. So I'm going to have to tell you. Let's see. Okay, normal rectilinear is the standard image, standard camera. Then you've got panoramic cameras. This is basically the type of camera you're using. A fisheye, a full frame fisheye, or an equirectangular. I think Gadget Wisdom Guru just threw that in there just to see if I could pronounce it. So Now that that is in, so I've got normal rectilinear. That is a standard camera, okay? Standard camera lens. Now I'm going to try doing this automatically by hitting the Align button. That's going to create control points based on software. The software is going to try to detect what pieces of those photos match up, and based on that information, it's going to try to create your panorama for you. Doesn't always work. Doesn't always work well, but tonight we're going to give it a try, and we're going to see if that's going to work in this case. And if not, we're going to proceed to try doing it manually as well. So in the meantime, while that is running, we're going to jump over to the Category5.tv newsroom, where Automatic Inc., the sponsor of the popular open source blogging and content management platform WordPress, has transferred the software's trademark. Oh, look at that. Get out of my way. There. As it was saying, they transferred the software's trademark to the Wordpress Foundation, the nonprofit dedicated to promoting and ensuring access to WordPress and related open source projects. It's nearly unheard of for a company to donate one of its most valuable assets to a nonprofit foundation, but Automatic was founded in 2005 partly to enable its developers to work on the open source WordPress project full-time. The company has figured out a way to remain profitable and still contribute greatly to the open source community as well, as the majority of the company work is available under licenses such as the GPL. Of course, the Category5.tv newsroom website is actually powered by the WordPress platform. You can download it for free and give it a try yourself if you like. It's available for download at wordpress.org. Or if you'd like, if you don't have a server, you can also set up your own free blog using the WordPress software at wordpress.com. Henry Pazinski, principal scientist in the wireless connectivity group at Broadcom Corporation, announced on Thursday that the upcoming Broadcom wireless driver for 11N chips is being released as a fully open source Linux driver. The driver supports many of the current Broadcom Wi-Fi chips, including the BCM4313, the BCM43224, the BCM43225, and get this, there is also provided architecture or framework for supporting additional chips in the future. If you've heard that Wi-Fi is difficult to set up under Linux, you've probably been talking to somebody with a Broadcom chip. But those conversations will soon be a thing of the past, as laptop users especially will be impacted by the open source release by Broadcom, as the common Wi-Fi chips used in notebook computers begin to receive full driver support in Linux directly out of the box. This move by Broadcom to open source its drivers effectively means that all major 802.11 wireless drivers have now been open sourced, and the trouble with Wi-Fi on Linux is soon to be a distant memory. Search engines have traditionally relied on the user typing in a query and then pressing either the search button with their mouse or the enter key on their keyboard. A bit of Russian roulette sometimes would then take place, and the novice user hopes that the query that they entered is going to turn up the results that they're looking for. Beginning this past Wednesday, Google began rolling out their most recent large-scale update to their search engine, and it is called Google Instant. With Google Instant, which will in time become part of the entire Google search site architecture, a user is presented with instantaneous search results based on every keystroke. It's not like the old drop-down style results, which would show you what Google thought that you were searching for. Google Instant, in fact, displays the actual results before you even press enter or press the search button. So, in some cases, this could mean that in only 2 or 3 character presses, you'd actually get the results that you're looking for, instead of having to type out the entire query and then press a button. So far, the new feature affects only the, well, actually, it may be a couple now, but it does affect the google.com main page, but users who are visiting from region-specific sites such as google.ca for Canadian visitors, you may have to click on go to google.com at the bottom of the search page in order to get those new features until they're rolled out to your search engine. Mario Brothers! Celebrating a birthday on September 13th, 1985. Has it been that long, the nostalgia? Nintendo released Super Mario Bros. a game that we all played incessantly on our 8-bit Super Nintendo, or just the Nintendo, Super Nintendo. What am I thinking? 8 bits! That's the actual graphics! My shirt is the actual graphics. That was the 8-bit Nintendo Entertainment System. While the character of Mario made his debut in Donkey Kong, you may remember, he was at that time only known as Jumpman. When Nintendo executives decided to place the character in his own title, the president of Nintendo made a remark about the likeness of the Jumpman character to their then landlord, Mario Segali. The name stuck, and Mario was born in 1983 with his first release, Mario's Cement Factory. The arcade game Mario Bros. Was released that same year, and then the Famicom game console was released, which we all know by its later name of the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES. So Nintendo set out to create a game based on their arcade hit character Mario, and Super Mario Bros. Was released to the Japanese market on September 13th, 25 years ago yesterday, followed by North America and actually the following fall when they did the full launch for the NES system. The game went on to sell over 40 million copies, making it one of the most popular video games of all time. And so, we salute Super Mario Bros. Or is it like, I don't know. They're a huge part of our gaming history. And of course, for those of us old enough to have played it day in and day out, I played it with my grandma. Brilliant times. It's a huge piece of nostalgia and brings back a lot of memories. Happy birthday to Mario. It's our little tribute. The Category5.tv newsroom this week also includes stories like Google. The Walking Navigation Beta and Street View is now available for Android. Check it out. The popular RSS aggregator service Bloglines is going to be shutting its doors on October 1st. And Hop and Silicon Dust announce alliance for HTPC cable card tuners. They're working together. Hop is a great name to be doing that. So fantastic. You can get the full stories at category5.tv/newsroom. And of course, the Category5.tv newsroom is researched by Roy W. Nash with contributions from Gadget Wisdom Guru, Becca Ferguson, and our community of viewers. If you've got a news story that you think is worthy of on-air mention, please email newsroom@category5.tv. This is Category 5 Technology TV. You'll find us online, www.category5.tv. And I'm your host, Robbie Ferguson. It's great to have you here. And boy, oh boy, is Hugin ever messing us up today. Gang, I got a confession to make. I don't think the automated assemblage of our photo is going to work today. I don't know what Hugin's thinking. We may be missing a component or something like that, because that is not normal, but that is art. Brilliant. Let's see what we can do. What I'm going to do, I'm going to say, you know what, Hugin? I don't like what you've done with my photo here. I'm sorry. But that's pathetic. That's terrible. So what I'm going to do, you know what? I'm going to say, forget this. I'm going to close Hugin. All right? I'm just going to say, you know what? Okay, I closed out of my preview, and I'm going to go new. The panorama has changed. Would you like to save the changes? Absolutely not. Hugin, you have failed me there. I'm going to load the images again. This doesn't take any time to redo, okay? And let's hop on over. We can look at those images. We can go to camera and lens. Everything was just going to remain the same, normal, rectilinear. But what we need to do is we need to go to control points, and we're going to set up our own control points. So you'll notice the left image is image number 0, SNB, whatever, okay? Image 0. Moving over to the right, it's also image 0. So what I need to do is I need to tell Hugin, well, okay, we need to line up image 0 on the left with image 1 on the right. So now here's my first image, which is 0. Here's my second image, which is being called 1. Okay? So now I need to start tuning that. What that means is I'm going to create some control points on that image using Hugin so that it's able to align that image much more effectively than previously. with the automated system. So what I'm going to do, this is really quite nice the way Hugin works. We want to find stationary objects. We want to find things that are in both images that we can point to that are not going to move whatsoever. We're not going to use a person's head as a point of reference because that's moving. We're not going to use a tree that's waving in the wind. We're going to use stationary things like demon head. Let's try it. I'll click on that section right there. So it's zoomed in on the demon head, okay? And now, over on this image, I'm going to say, well, that's roughly about there. Hugin automatically zooms in and determines that that point is identical to that point, okay? And it really is. That's pretty accurate. This photo on the right is a little blurry. This one's a little bit more sharp. But there's one control point. So I'm going to add that. I like that. Add. So I've got my first control point, which is Demon Man Head. I know that there's a story behind the demon guy. I call him the demon guy. That is the spirit catcher. It's some kind of artistic work of art that has been there for years, since I was a little kid. And beyond that, I don't know the history. Supposedly, it catches anything that's dark coming across the water into Barrie. And that's why Barrie is such a peaceful place. Anyways, some form of art. So, I'm going to grab another control point. I'm going to use the bottom of this flower pot. Okay, so see it's zoomed in. It's giving me a nice little close-up so that I can get a real good idea. And then over here, let's grab that same flower pot in the same point, and just, you don't have to be exact because Hugin's going to auto-detect and it's going to say, okay, that's what this point looks like, so compare it. There's one, there's another, okay? That looks good. I'm going to add it. So keep doing this, and do this in a triangular kind of mode. Notice I did one at the top, I've done one down here, and I'm doing this in such a way that my control points are not on a flat plane, right? They're all over kind of the place. But what happens with the automated system, with that automated detection, is quite often it's going to pick up things like clouds or moving objects. And it's going to say, oh yeah, I'm going to use that person's head as a control point. And that is where everything just falls apart because you can't do that. A cloud, for example, that's moving in a windy sky, that's not going to work as a control point. So automatic doesn't always work for you. So back at our photo here, I'm going to keep going. And this can be a time-consuming process. See, I've clicked on another point. Now over here, click on that same point. And what I'm doing is I'm telling Hugin that that point in this photo is the same as that point in this photo. And therefore, it can use those points in order to line up my image. Okay, got another one there. Grab this, and you can actually move that around if it didn't get the right point. Okay, there we go, there's one. And oh, that one's, oh, you see what happened there? Oh, there it is. Okay, yes, sorry. Hugin already selected it automatically. Because what happens is once Hugin starts to get a good idea for where your control points are, notice I didn't have to click that second time. It already knew. And so that's what's going to start to happen, because now Hugin says, oh yeah, okay, I know what's going on here. Let's, for example, grab the end here, okay? And if I click on that, there it is, okay? I'll go right to the end. So it looks like that. Now, you'll notice that Hugin has already grabbed that same point over here, because now I officially have enough control points that Hugin says, I know my way around this photo. You don't even have to keep going. But the more control points you have, the more reliable. What I'm going to do, just to see what Hugin says, I'm going to click on the next image pair here, and then I'm going to go back one. This basically forces a bit of a refresh. And it shows me that I have 5 control points. It's green. So Hugin thinks, okay, you've got 5 control points, and I know my way around this photo. You don't have to keep going here. So I'll move on to the next control set. So here we go. I'm going to move on to the next set. I've just clicked the right arrow up here at the top right, and I can start adding more control points. Same photos, see? And probably, in many, many cases, I'm going to be creating the exact same control points because I'm going to be picking the same stationary objects. You want to make sure that I grab the right one of these. It's at the base of the stairs. I'm going to click right there, and there it goes. It's selected it for me, and I'm going to click on Add. And I'm going to keep going. Click there. It zooms in automatically. I drag that around to the corner, and it's already said, oh, I got it. Let's do Demon Head again. Oh, we can't because that doesn't exist. See, that control point doesn't exist in our right image. So in that case, I can right-click on that control point that I tried to create. See, I've created it there. I can right-click on it, and it goes away. Or alternatively, I could have just dragged it to somewhere that does exist. But I prefer to just recreate the control point. Now it's gone and created one there, so I'm going to highlight that and delete. Okay, so how I did that, I highlighted it from this list and then hit delete down at the bottom right. That gets rid of a control point that I don't want to use. So instead, let's grab the end here of the arm. Okay, and let's see if Hugin detected it. It did on the right image. So now I can add that, and I like that. And I'm going to go forward one and backward one to refresh, and it shows that I have 3 control points, but Hugin thinks that it has enough information because it's green. And that's because it's triangular. But I tend to like to, I'm going to throw in a couple more control points there just in case. I'm just going to get to the base here. And yeah, see that? Okay, what do you notice? Okay, well now that is outside of the photo. So, okay, that's not fair. Let's try that again. I'm going to delete that control point because that doesn't fall within the photo. Be careful of that because you notice what I just did there. I clicked on a point on my left image that doesn't exist on the right image, and so then there's going to be a problem because Hugin's going to try to detect a place and it's going to completely skew your image. It's going to completely mash it up. So let's take a look. Let's get 1 or 2 quick more control points. Find another stationary object. I'm going to grab, make sure it's available in both. I'm going to grab this corner here. Okay, so I've grabbed this corner. See what Hugin says. It didn't grab it, so we know that it's not quite ready yet. So there we go. I've got the corner in both images. Now let's grab something up here, top of the stairs, where it meets the side. And that's too far because that does not exist in my other photo. I'm going to grab instead here and click. No, okay, let's see. Drag that up there and then hit fine tune. Notice what I did there? I moved the right one from down here. I moved it up to about the same spot, and then I hit this fine tune button, which is going to just find that exact spot as far as auto detection goes, and then I can add that. So forward one, backward one. I've got 5 control points, still green, we're good to go. Let's give that a go. I'm going to grab, same point, I'm going to grab that corner there. Okay, and grab it over here. Automatically lined up, it looks good. So I'm going to add that control point. I still have the tip of the wing here. So I'm going to click on it and it's good. Okay, I'm going to grab, notice I'm not grabbing anything on the horizon because trees, things like that can move subtly. And because they're so far away, I'm not going to probably get the same amount of consistency from those. Let's see what I can get over here. I can still get the bottom of the stairs. There we go. And let's grab that. Looks good. And notice how Hugin is already, it's detecting everything very, very quickly now because it's really getting familiar with these photos. It knows its way around. I'm going to grab the bottom of that and notice it got that, no problem. So if I go forward and back, I'll bet it's going to say that it's green. It's good to go. Yep. 5 control points, it's green. Next photo, we're getting there. We're almost at the end of our image. I'm going to click into that corner here. Corners are great. Corners, straight edges, anything where you've got something that is definite. A straight line, if I grabbed a straight point of that curb, chances are I could get the wrong control point because what I see as the right point there's not enough detail in order to find the exact point. Whereas the edge of this bench, for example, it's quite easy to see, okay, well here's the top of the bench. So let's drag this over to where the black part of the bench meets the brown part. And now on the other image, it's really, really easy to see that. Okay, maybe one more control point just to be safe. We're going to find something. I think I'm going to have to go again with the bench because I don't see any other possible control points in this photo. Other than perhaps we could go with the top right corner of this flower pot. And let's see what that gave us. And that is fairly accurate. That looks perfect. So let's see what Hugin tells us if I go back and then forward. And notice that everything's kind of in a straight line, but I have made sure that there's up and down, left, down, and up. There is that kind of, there is that difference there in not only width but height. So I'm going to trust that. I've got 5, and we're going to go with that. I would probably have added a couple more control points to that one, but because we are limited for time, we've got about 9 minutes left of the show tonight. I'm going to try to get through this, and we're going to really hope that Hugin does a nice job of this panorama. There we go. That looks good. I'm going to grab again. Oh, I can't grab this because it doesn't exist in my other image. So I'm going to get rid of that control point. So I need to highlight number 2 and delete. Okay, I do see the top of this garbage can in this photo, so I can grab that. Notice I'm grabbing the corner because that gives me a lot more detail than if I went in the middle like that. Well, it's green. It could be there. It could be there. Really hard to tell. If I go with the corner, and notice I'm staying inside. I'm not going outside for the corner because that's sky. And sky is a variable. We want to go inside of a static object, fine-tune, because I had moved that a little bit, and then add that control point. One more on the bench. There we go. Hugin is already detecting the points. Notice I'm grabbing a piece of the trunk. I'm not grabbing some of the leaves because the leaves are no doubt rustling in the wind. Forward 1, back 1, and Hugin says I've got 5 control points. It's green. We're good to go. Next up, throw in a couple more control points. Let's see what happens here. I think this is our last set of images. There we go. Add that. I don't have that corner anymore, so I can't go with that. I still have the garbage can in both images. There we are. Let's start using the fence. It's another static object that's not going to move. There we are. I'm also going to grab the bottom because I like high and low. We need it to be somewhere that's static. Probably be safer to use the edge of the garbage can here because this is looking a little bit jumbled with grass and stuff. So I'm going to grab this little rim of the garbage can. There it is, fine tune. It doesn't think that it's got it, but it does look like it does. So that's fine. One more control point on the bench. There we are. Move forward and back. Control points, I've got 5, and everything looks good. So I'm going to jump over to let's see, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to optimize that. I'm just kind of going through the list here. I'm going to optimize just using the basic features. See what happens. It's grabbing all the control points that I made. Do I want to apply the changes? Yes. All I did was hit optimize now. And now let's see what comes up. So if I click on Preview Panorama up at the top there, fingers are crossed. That is looking a lot better than what we were seeing there before. There needs to be some straightening done here, obviously. And this is where more control points is going to be a good thing. But you'll see that the images are almost lined up. I want to straighten, which hopefully is going to do something for me. And of course, I wish that it had come out absolutely perfect the first time around because of the fact that we're just about out of time. I've got about 5 minutes left of the show, and I've still got some prizes to give away. So with Hugin, you can see how this is working. You are going to be able to tweak your settings with each of your control points. If you're not happy with if the control points are not giving good results. You see that now it's telling me that the control points are not actually doing very well. So I think we may need to re-optimize that image, add a couple more control points. Let's see, incremental. Yeah, everything else looks pretty good. Stitching is, using the default settings will usually do a pretty good job for you, but everything is about tweaking with Hugin. But I'll just say, now I get some fantastic results, but usually when I'm working on a panorama of professional scale, I'm going to take quite a bit of time adding multiple control points, tweaking the optimization, really getting it cleaned up, and then rendering it with the with Hugin. Once it's rendered, let's see here what I can do. We can go into photometrics, which is what crashed our system last week, and it's not crashing it here, but we do still need to straighten out that image a little bit. So we'll need to fix that up. But what I'll say is that with the short amount of time that we have, it's hard for me to now straighten the images, but Hugin's website is a fantastic resource. It's not just a website to get the software. It's also a resource of information. The documentation is fantastic. There are a lot of great tutorials at Hugin, hugin.sourceforge.net. And when you're there, make sure you browse through some of the tutorials. And I say that absolutely honestly because it's vast. The amount of information that's available on Hugin's website is incredible. And it's going to teach you not only about using the software and creating panoramas using Hugin, which is available again for all major platforms. So even if you're not on Linux, you can get it for Windows or Mac. But this website not only provides the software, but the tutorials are going to really help you to learn how to create professional-looking panoramas using a standard digital camera. So you're able to do a lot of neat stuff. So I'd recommend that you check that out. We're pretty much out of time tonight, so I want to tell you a little bit about Nanodots. And Nanodots, you can find out all about these guys. I'm going to show you these down here. I haven't even opened this yet. I wanted to open this with you here. These, pardon me, are super-powered magnets. And what's kind of neat about them, if you can say that it's neat, is that it's like the old school days when toys didn't have batteries. You didn't need batteries to have a toy like that, a game or something that's you can have on your desk to play with or whatever. There's no internet connection required with Nanodots, and it's just a cool little thing. So I'm gonna see what this thing looks like. Let's actually open this up, and I've got a few of these to give away. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Pop. There we go. We got some instructions here, which no doubt is going to show me some fancy tricks. Oh yeah. Things that I can create with Nanodots. No batteries required. Now I should say that if you have small children in the house, dogs, pets that may eat small things, make sure that these are absolutely nowhere to be found for them. Magnets can be very dangerous when it comes to small children, anyone who may swallow them, because magnets will connect to each other within your intestines. So Carrie would say, as the nurse that she is, she would tell me to tell you. I guarantee you. So make sure that if you have kids or small animals that, or any animal, that this does not see them. Here we go. Fortunately, floppies are not an issue anymore. There we go. It almost matches my shirt. So these are literally, holy cow, they are super strong magnets. But super cool. You can do some really neat things. And what I'm going to do, wow, these are strong. See, I've never actually touched these. I've just kind of seen the videos, but these are really kind of cool. As my shirt as a backdrop is probably, wow. Just to give you an idea. So I'm going to pull up a website here, and I'll invite you to go over to cat5.tv/nanodots. Whoa! They're wild. And on that website, there is everything from videos about how to use them. There are tutorials, And the kinds of things that these guys, these people that have been using them for some time are able to do are just absolutely incredible. And you're able to make some really interesting things, but it's fun, and it's a neat little thing. So this is what I made tonight. How do you like that? It's a puss. It's a puss. But I would love to send you a set of nanodots, 216 nanodots to be precise. So what I'll get you to do is visit cat5.tv/nanodots, and when you're there, make a note of the toll-free number, and I want you to email that along with your email address, your name, and your mailing address so that we can send you one of these to Nanodots, Nanodots, at Category5.tv. So that's all you have to do, and over the next 3 weeks, we're going to be giving some of these away. So check it out, Nanodots, cat5.tv/nanodots. Hope you have a fantastic week. Don't forget, next week we are going to be celebrating our 3rd anniversary, so there are going to be some familiar and wonderful missed faces, loved people here at the studio, so don't miss out. Make sure you join us for episode number 157 of Category 5 TV next week, and we'll see you then. Have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you on Tuesday night. See ya.